Hi, this is King of Review. Here we have 3 logarithmic expressions to arrange from greatest to least. I'd like to start with c because c looks the most different. It doesn't have a squared in it. C is defined as the log of 1 over x. But since logs are all about exponents, I'd like to rewrite 1 over x as x to the negative 1. Now there's a nice property of logs that says if you have the log of some base b of x to some power a, we can move the a in front of the log as a multiplier, a times the log base b of x. With that in mind, c can be rewritten as negative 1 times the log of x. Now let's think for a minute about log of x on the interval we're talking about, from 1 to 100. When x is 1, we have the log of 1. Now the log with no base is assumed to have a base of 10, and since 10 to the 0 power is 1, this log is 0. When x is 100, log of x becomes the log base 10 of 100, and since 10 squared is 100, the log of 100 is 2. This tells us that the log of x is going to go from 0 to 2, not including 0 or 2, when x goes from 1 to 100. Importantly, this means log of x is always positive, since it is greater than 0, which means c is always going to be negative. Since neither a nor b have any negative signs in them, c is going to be the smallest of these three, because it's the only one that's negative. So we know c is the least. We now need to decide between a and b which one is greater. A can use the exact same property we just used for c because it has an exponent inside the log. We can move that exponent to the front of the log, turning a into 2 times the log of x. So we have to compare that to b, which instead of multiplying the log of x by 2, squares the log of x. Now, if we think about two functions, if we think about y equals 2x and y equals x squared, these are the two functions we're using here with the log of x. In a, we're multiplying it by 2, and in b, we're squaring it. If we were to start graphing these, we know y equals 2x is a straight line, and y equals x squared is a parabola. At first, the line is higher than the parabola, but at a certain point, the parabola starts taking off, and x squared gets bigger. But where exactly does x squared cross this line? Does it cross it in the middle of the interval we're working with, or not? To answer that, let's look at the highest point in this interval, 100. Now 100 is technically just outside the end of our interval. If we plug in 100 for x, then for a we have 2 times the log of 100. The log of 100 is 2, so a is equal to 4. If we plug in 100 for x in b, we get the log of 100 squared. The log of 100 is 2, and 2 squared equals 4, which means 4 is the value when the parabola crosses the line y equals 2x in this instance. And we figured out that happens when x is 100, which means for the entire time x goes between 0 and 100. 1 and 100, that is the interval we're working with. For that entire time, the line y equals 2x is greater than the parabola y equals x squared, which means a is greater than b for our entire interval from 1 to 100. So we know a is greater than b, we know c is the smallest, which means our order is a, b, c. And that's it. Thanks for watching.